If you're thinking about selling your house in this market and you're thinking, dadgummit, how am I going to price this house? How much am I going to price it for? And how am I going to price this to maximize demand and create success for this one? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. If you have questions and so forth that pop up, look around the screen. You can see my number out there. Go ahead, give us a call. Love the opportunity to answer any of your questions. So let's get into this video again. How do you price your home for success? Now again, we're talking about pricing your home to create success. One of the things you got to think about when pricing your homes, you got to price it in such a fashion that you're creating demand. Now what demand is a consumer's willingness to buy your home or buy a product or service. In this case, it's your home and their willingness to buy your home. And let's take a look at that. Let's consider that, okay? Let's say we've got 10 homes on the market right now and we've got 10 buyers. You would think, well, one home for each buyer, but the most desirable home on the market is yours. And all 10 of those buyers are visiting your home. They're interested in your home. They want to buy your home. That is demand, or the entire market is interested in your home. So each home is unique enough that one can stand out and create more demand than others. So you've got 10 homes on the market, and because you've done the things to make your home stand out, you've now got all the demand. So that demand creates competition for your home, and it ends up driving the price up for your home. So it's going to create competition, possibly generate multiple offers, and more than likely generate a higher price than any of these other homes because you've got all the demand. So that's really the secret. And one of the easiest ways to really create demand in a home is to price to create demand. So we just got finished talking about pricing for demand and how demand will drive pricing up, create competition for your home, and get the best price for you. But let's talk about the other scenario where where pricing actually reduces demand. There's two scenarios that we want to talk about. The first is really if the home is overpriced. So let's give some examples here. Let's talk about a $900,000 home, and you have a great $900,000 home, and you say, hey, I want to get top dollar for this home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list it for $1 million and see what happens. Now, typically what happens is if you have a $900,000 home, it doesn't have the features, upgrade, or size of a $1 million home. So when it's listed for $1 million, it gets compared to other $1 million homes by $1 million buyers and their real estate agents. So it may not necessarily stack up to those other $1 million one-million-dollar homes. So what ends up happening is the $1 million buyers are trying to get the most they can for their money. So they end up passing on your home and going for one of the other homes that may have those better features, upgrades, or it's larger, and the home ends up sitting on the market. Now, there may be some $900,000 buyers who would love this home, so they never end up seeing those homes or this home simply because it's outside their price range. They're looking at $900,000 homes or less, and so they never see it. So the home ends up sitting on the market and becomes stagnant. Now, the second scenario. And one of the things we're always looking at is comps. We hear a lot about comps or comparable sales. And those are homes that are similar to yours. They've sold in the last 6 months and they're within a 1 mile radius. Now, realtors look at it, appraisers look at it, and we're always talking about comparable sales or comps. Now, let's say we go out there and for your home, we determined that the other comps are all $900,000 and we price it at $900,000. Now, one of the things that ends up happening is you're priced at $900,000, you're going to see other $900,000 homes, and they all look very similar. So what ends up happening is now one of them distinguishes themselves, so the buyer actually looks at which one they can get the cheapest. So that doesn't necessarily drive your price up. You're competing against other homes like yours, and the buyers are really looking at which one they can get the cheapest. Now, when you're talking about pricing your home to create success, as I said earlier, you got to price to create demand. So let's talk about that. We just outlined a couple scenarios where you're pricing and you're reducing demand. Let's talk about a scenario where you're pricing drives demand, creates demand for your home. We talked about a scenario where the home's overpriced. We talked about a scenario where the home's priced at comparables. Now let's talk about a scenario where the home is priced to create demand. Now, one of the things that happens, remember I told you that the home is being compared to other homes, the feature, size, so forth, is being compared to other homes. Now, if you brought your home down to $800,000, what ends up happening is your $900,000 home is now being compared to the $800,000 homes, and it stands out because it's got better features, it may be larger, it's in better condition, it's got better upgrades and so forth. So what ends up is buyers in this market go, wow, what a great deal. So you attract a lot of buyers to your home. Also, remember, there are buyers that are $900,000 and below, and they're looking for the best, for the most for their money. And they start seeing your home, and they start seeing that your home has got better upgrades, it's in better condition, it's larger than many of their homes, and it's priced well. And they go, wow, what an amazing deal. And remember, what drives pricing is demand. So you're now bringing more buyers to the home. Those buyers are competing for your home. And what ends up happening is you're driving the price up. So you're pricing your home to create success. You're driving that price up. You're driving it above, in many cases, well above that $900,000. So we've already spoken about pricing to create demand or pricing to drive success for your home. Now, how do we actually do that? Now let's talk a little bit. Earlier we spoke about comps, and comps really kind of give us an idea of what the home should be selling for. You know, just maybe the value of your home. It's something that realtors look at. It's something that appraisers look at. But when we start talking the list price of your home, we're looking at something that's actually going to drive success, that's going to create demand for your home. And how do we come up with that list price? Well, here's a couple techniques. Number one, looking at active listings that are out there. You want to take a look at homes that are similar to yours in areas like yours, because what's going to end up happening is buyers that are looking at your home are also going to be looking at other homes in the area. So you want to be priced aggressively against those, because that's your competition. Now, the active listings may be priced too high. You know, there's maybe a lot of things going on with those active listings. So we've got to look at the pending listings. The pending listings really tell us what you need to list your home at to attract buyers, to get into contract, because they have successfully gotten into contract. So you also want to price aggressively against those pending listings. Now remember, your list price is one thing. Your list price is really to create demand for your home, bring buyers to your home, create competition for your home. And looking at pricing at that pending level, or even something a little bit below that, we're looking at creating demand for your home, getting a lot of buyers competing for your home. So now, when getting your home priced by looking at the comps, looking at pending, the other thing is we got to settle on an actual number to list your home at. Now, there are some numbers that have more buyers behind them. Let's talk about that. For instance, you know, let's say you have a home and you list it for $805,000. Now, one of the things that's going to end up happening is you're going to have a lot more buyers that are behind, that are looking for $800,000 or less. So behind that $800,000, so they're looking for $800,000 left. You're not going to have a significant amount of buyers that are looking at 805 or less. Okay, so by bringing your home down to $799, you're going to increase the number of buyers that are actually seeing your home. So by increasing the number of buyers that are actually seeing your home, there's a real potential of increasing demand for your home. And there's a lot of numbers out there. 800 and or less, you can go 475 or less, you can go 750 or less, you can go 700 or less. You know, it really depends on what kind of home, the condition of your home, what it's going to be selling for, where you look at pricing that home. But by pricing at these major numbers, you're really taking advantage of what buyers are searching for and where you're going to find most buyers and create the most demand for your home, bring the largest number of people to your home, and create demand and competition for your home. So by pricing behind those numbers is one of the ways to really look at creating success. The other thing is if you end up having to reduce the price, if you're at $800,000, you don't necessarily want to reduce your price to $790 because there's not a lot of buyers behind that. If you go to $775, now you've got a lot of buyers who are looking for $775 or less versus buyers who are looking for $790 or less, okay? You're not going to pick up a lot of buyers by reducing from $800,000 to $790. You're going to pick up a lot of buyers by dropping all the way down to $775. Those additional buyers create additional demand, bring additional people to your home, create additional competition for your home, and drive the price up. And they're going to drive the price up to a level that's even beyond what you expect. So in this video, we've talked about really kind of creating pricing to create demand for your home. Now, there's a couple other things that we got to talk about. Number one, guys, in creating demand and bringing people to your home is you got to make sure that the home stays on the market long enough that it becomes fully exposed to the market. This means that everybody who'd be interested in your home had the opportunity to see it. Now, one of the things that always worries me a little bit is sometimes I hear people say, well, I sold my home in 3 days. It really concerns me that the home didn't get exposed to the market and you didn't get top dollar for the home. The other thing we really want to do is set a specific date to receive offers and compare those offers side by side, because that's how we really drill down to what the best offer is going to be for your home, guys. So if you got a home out there, look around your screen. You're going to see our home evaluation site. Go out there. We're going to keep you updated regarding the value of your home. And if you're thinking about selling at some point in time, reach out to us. We'd love to answer all your questions. Hey, take good care of yourself. Have a great rest of your week, okay? Bye-bye.